Neuroscience entered education with a powerful promise: understand the brain, teach better. The danger is the promise becoming decoration. A brain image can make a weak idea look scientific. Neuroscience arrived in classrooms carrying a real promise and a quiet danger. The promise is that understanding how children learn could sharpen what teachers do. The danger is that the same vocabulary can dress up weak ideas, turning a brain image into a badge of authority it has not earned. This book makes one disciplined claim: educational neuroscience is useful only when it disciplines pedagogy, not when it decorates weak ideas with brain vocabulary. A finding becomes pedagogically real at the exact moment it changes the design of a task. What pupils see, retrieve, explain, compare, and revise. The argument runs along an evidence ladder. At the bottom sit attractive but unsupported claims about learning styles and hemispheres. In the middle sit lab findings that still need classroom translation. At the top sit methods with converging evidence and a feasible way to run them on an ordinary Tuesday. From there the chapters build a working architecture of learning. Attention, design, and working memory load explain failures we usually misread as low ability. Retrieval, spacing, and interleaving turn one moment of understanding into durable knowledge that survives time and changed surface features. The body is never absent from the mind. Stress, sleep, emotion, and movement set the conditions under which attention and memory can operate at all. A safe classroom is not a soft one. It is a place where error is information, challenge is expected, and threat does not block thinking. Metacognition closes the loop. Children learn more deeply when taught to plan, monitor, evaluate, and revise their own work, and when assessment stops being a verdict and becomes the next instructional action. None of this requires expensive technology. It requires better questions about evidence. The synthesis is honest and demanding. The modern school does not need teachers turned into neurologists. It needs educators who argue critically with evidence and design experiences that are more human, more verifiable, and more durable. The real test is what a teacher can actually use on Tuesday morning. Topic development. Central thesis. Neuroscience disciplines teaching. It does not decorate it. A brain image can make a weak idea look scientific. The science is useful only when it constrains pedagogy and rules out wishful thinking. Key concepts: evidence, translation, constraint, rigor, humility. The underlying idea is, science is a constraint, not a label. A brain image can make a claim look scientific even when the classroom evidence is weak. The real question: not what the brain says, but what changes tomorrow. A finding becomes pedagogical the moment it changes a task. What pupils see, retrieve, explain, compare, and revise in a real lesson. Key concepts: mechanism, task, decision, behavior, design. The underlying idea is, knowing the mechanism is not teaching. The evidence ladder. Sort every claim before it reaches a classroom. At the bottom, attractive slogans. In the middle, lab findings awaiting translation. At the top, converging evidence a teacher can actually run. Key concepts: slogan, laboratory, classroom, converge, feasible. The underlying idea is, strong, promising, limited, unsupported. Neuromyths. Learning styles and hemispheres explain nothing. Labeling a child visual or auditory closes more than it opens. Replace learner labels with task supports. A worked example, a diagram. Retrieval, less load. Key concepts: styles, hemispheres, labels, supports, equity. The underlying idea is, design roots. Do not sort children. Attention. No deep learning without attention by design. Working memory is small and fragile, vulnerable to distraction and stress. A room saturated with stimuli looks modern and quietly blocks thinking. Key concepts: select, sustain, inhibit, signal, priority. The underlying idea is, reduce noise before adding method. Working memory. Many failures are load, not low ability. The mental workspace is small and fragile. Effort should fall on the learning target, not on decoding instructions or juggling scattered materials. Key concepts: workspace, limit, chunk, model, fade. The underlying idea is, remove the load that is not the goal. Remove the difficulty that is not the learning goal. Memory. Understanding today is not learning that lasts. Learning is proven when a child can retrieve, use, and adapt later. Spacing, retrieval, and interleaving build knowledge that survives time. Key concepts: encode, retrieve, spacing, interleave, transfer. The underlying idea is, durable beats immediate. The learning body. Emotion sets the conditions. It does not replace rigor. stress, sleep, and movement set the conditions for attention and memory. A safe room treats error as information and keeps the challenge high. Key concepts: stress, sleep, emotion, safety, challenge. The underlying idea is, comfort without challenge grows little. Comfort without challenge produces little growth. Threat without support blocks learning. Metacognition. Teach children to steer their own learning. Plan, monitor, evaluate, revise. Assessment turns neuroeducational when it stops being a verdict and becomes the next instructional action. Key concepts: plan, monitor, evaluate, revise, feedback. The underlying idea is, assessment that informs the next move. Technology. Tools must serve thinking, not hide it behind screens. Technology helps only when it clarifies practice. Feedback, accessibility, or assessment. An app that adds distraction or hides thinking is not neuroeducational. Key concepts: clarify, feedback, access, evidence, alignment. The underlying idea is, fast answers are not understanding. Synthesis. Not teachers turned neurologists, but readers of evidence. A neuroeducational school does not talk more about the brain, it designs better conditions for it to learn. The test is what a teacher can use on Tuesday. Key concepts: evidence, routine, measure, ethics, durable. The underlying idea is, design conditions, not slogans. A model is successful only if teachers can actually use it on Tuesday morning. If you want to go deeper, the book Neuroscience in Education, a modern pedagogical approach for children's learning is now available on Amazon. The purchase link is in the description.